Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video I want to talk a little bit about ultra characters or ultra teams. So we have a lot of ultras now, and the ability to put them into teams is becoming more and more accessible. For example, I have a God Key team that I'm showcasing here. Well, God Key Future lineup with Ultra Instinct Goku, SS God Vegito, Super Saiyan Rose, Goku Black. And this team can run, at least in terms of boost, pretty well. Each of them is getting full boost, each of them is getting a Zenkai, except for UI Goku. You can do similar things with obviously all the Saiyan contingents, because you have so many Gojitas, Vegitos, etc. Building a full Ultra team, or at least a triple Ultra roster from them, is pretty good. Is pretty attainable. The thing is it worth it? So the thing that people often forget with ultras is two things. Firstly, ultra resonance is a super important component to ultra characters. So for example, and I don't like it. I don't like the concept of ultra resonance. But basically what it means is that when they place this leader, they get like a flat 30% kind of buff, which is very important. They all have, I believe, as far as I'm aware, the same buff that occurs when they're leader, 30% to damage inflicted, 30% to key recovery. The thing is if they're not the leader, then they get 5% per character in a specific category. So, for example, like when it comes to green Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Rose, he gets 5% per future, which is fine if you have future, obviously, sports. But for example, Super Saiyan God SS Vegito, if he's not lead, he gets them per Fusion Warrior. Now, depending on your team, you may not have Fusion Warriors to fully trigger his passive. So not only are you already losing out on the 30%, because you can have a max of 15, but you have to also, if you want to max out those 15%, you have to factor that in when looking at your boost build, which can make building the teams complicated. It doesn't mean it's not possible. There's plenty of teams that have good synergy or have units that can run together. Great example of this is the Super G member, who gets his Ultra Resonance based on regen characters, but he can be your lead. And then if you have the Super Saiyan God SS Goku, he pairs up really well with Super Saiyan God SS Vegito, Gogeta, because they both benefit off of Fusion Warrior, or Fusion and Fusion Warrior. So definitely there is synergy there. The second thing with all ultra teams at the end of the day is that ultra units tend to be playstyle heavy, and that's a weird statement to say, but generally speaking, at least as of now, as of this video, ultra units are not support units. They're not units that and I don't think any of them has the support designation at all. They are all attack-orientated units. Not that they don't have stuff baked into their kit. I think Boo is, as of now, the only defensive unit. I believe the rest are literally all either melee or blast. There's no support ultras. So there's no support ultras. Kid Boo's the only defensive ultra. Very good, but still, there's not a lot. They're all attack-based units. And when you're building a team, one of the things that contributes to a team being good in Legends is understanding the makeup and interplay of units. Like a great example is why LF Android 17 has remained so competitive in the meta is because of everything he brings the rest of the team. He brings the team so much differing utilities, that he debuffs opposition super duper impressively. When an ally activates Rising Rush, he gives plus 70% to that Rising Rush damage. He inflicts all of your enemies with attribute downgrades, which is super duper impressive. He's got basically his unique gauge builds up whenever the ally is hit with an attack. This is very, very important. If the enemy activates while he's on the battlefield, he shortens your substitution time accounts. So, like, the thing is these don't usually happen with ultras. Ultras are very kind of primarily focused heavily on being individually successful units. And so running a full team of ultras can kind of hold you back. For example, Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black is an incredibly good unit still, and can do great damage with his blue card. But he's not that great, honestly, combining with Goku and Vegito. Because yes, although melee and although melee and although melee, the big thing with him is, he actually, or with Goku Black, is he actually needs a lot of blue card support. He needs someone that can really jump in and sort damage when he can't. None of those are Vegito or Goku. So it's one of those things. He works way better with a unit like Blue Zamasu overall than he does with other Ultra units. Now, of course, you can see that I'm winning matches with this team, because Ultra units are still very powerful, and having a team of them is definitely, tactically, in terms of a playstyle point of view, something that can be very, very overwhelming for the opposition. But this is more kind of like talking about the fact that just because you have 3 Ultras doesn't mean sticking them in a team is going to get you victories. It can work, but you still need to really factor in to get the best out of them. Factor in your boost units, factor in, am I getting the right Zenkais? Am I filling up their Ultra Resonance? Do these Ultras have some synergy? A great example is Super Janemba and Super Saiyan God SS Gogeta. Both have really good synergy. Super Janemba is basically able to counter melee attacks that are essentially thrown in main combo, whereas Super Saiyan God SS Gogeta is able to counter ranged attacks and super attacks and those. So there is definitely synergy possible, but you just need to essentially really be in control and really look at your team when building. For me, this team right here is quite functional. It's definitely, I would probably say Goku Black or Goku Rose is probably the one I would switch out the most at this point, because he's just better catered for in other teams. There's also now the Legends Limited boost, and having multiple Legends Limited provides more stats to the units, and this is something you also have to factor in. But overall, a fun team. Bye.